The title of my talk is Capturing Social Media Content for Your Plastic Surgery Practice. Who, how, and why? I have no disclosures. I've been in private practice in San Francisco since 2006, when I became one of the very first plastic surgeons who was active on Twitter. Since that time, I focused my attention on Instagram and Facebook with a dedicated before and after Instagram account. I don't do TikTok, I'm a Gen Xer, I probably won't. And my practice focuses on aesthetic surgery and complex breast revisions. So why is having an online presence important to ASPS member plastic surgeons? Well, we're competing against non-board certified, non-plastic surgeons for the same aesthetic market. Patient safety and education should be paramount in messaging. Our competitors' messaging is powerful and slick, as you can see in the American Board of Cosmetic Surgery. They advertise that they do all this extra training in cosmetic surgery, whereas we do other things like reconstruction. Patients really don't know what to look for when they're seeking an expert. So who should be the one to capture content for your social media profiles? We're going to talk all about that. And how is this best done, and what are your options? I will go into a lot of detail. Why is capturing new content important? Well, word of mouth is now online. Having a social media presence allows you to control the message about your practice, your bedside manner, your results, and why patients should trust you as their surgeon. I was told in training that like attracts like, and everyone gets the practice they deserve. On the right, you can see last year I was featured as a cover model for a local magazine, which was so cool. I look very glamorous, but that's not my daily life. What patients can relate to is me as a person. Here's a picture of me holding a scrapbook I have in my waiting room of thank you cards from patients over the last 17, 18 years, with their names removed, of course, but patients can read about other people's experience in their own words, and I share many of those thank you cards online. And just like in the movie, I believe if you build it, they will come. Social media can be used to establish an authentic connection with your target audience, which is a patient population, and increase the credibility of your practice and services, even if you're just starting out. If you're going to be on social media, you in fact are the content creator for your practice, your brand, and reputation. A content creator produces entertaining or educational content that meets the interests and overcomes challenges of a specific target audience. And content can take very many forms, as listed below. I'll go into detail and give helpful tips for many of these. Content can be very boring, like stock photos. Cookie cutter images are obvious and misleading. Also, they're not your results. And what's up with those markings we always see on Shutterstock? That's not how we do it. You can have intriguing, new, unique content that reflects you and your practice and personality. It'll stop users from scrolling by and take notice. Someone who does this really well is Dr. Supio. It's important to find your own style and voice. Users will only interact with your content if they think it's actually helpful. So what are the essential steps to becoming a successful content creator? Well, first you have to identify your audience, then choose your ideal platforms, design a content plan, establish your practice brand and voice, consider third-party tools, create your content portfolio, and then grow your following on social networks. Be sure to do this slowly and honestly. Don't buy fake followers. And remember, it's quality over quantity. So, where do you start? If you're new in practice, you do have an intuitive edge because you've been probably on social media personally for a while. If you're established in practice, you may need some help. And if you're in a group practice, you need to agree to post as a group and establish your own parallel professional social media profile. Which platforms will you focus on? There's so many to choose from. Choosing one or two platforms will help you to concentrate your efforts and energy on making that one a successful outlet for the amazing content you're going to create. One incredible resource I want to give a shout out to is the ASPS Social Media Toolkit. It was launched in October 2022 with Dr. Ashley Amalfi and I acting as contributors and editors. There are currently 2 courses available, one on ethics and the other one on strategy. Upcoming courses will be on hashtags, metrics and engagement, and content buckets. It's free to ASPS member surgeons. Just log on to your profile, go to my dashboard, and under member benefits, you can see the social media toolkit icon. Be sure to check it out. How do you best identify and evaluate your practice audience? Well, do some thinking. What procedures bring you joy? What is your professional passion? What procedures do you want to be known as an expert in? Be mindful of the ASPS Code of Ethics, because you're not really supposed to say you are the expert in anything, especially before you're board certified. Who is visiting your website? Google Analytics can help determine visitor demographics. What audience do you want to reach? Knowing your target audience is crucial to the success of your content and marketing strategy. Your brand needs relevant and innovative content to pique your audience's interest, and you need consistent messaging to keep their interest. You're only as good as your last review or last post. What makes an expert content creator? They know and understand their target audience, what drives and interests them. They stay up to speed with their industry and trends. They continuously improve their content creation skills, whether it be writing, video recording, or photography. And they understand the role that keywords play. How to create content not only for search engines, but as well for human audiences. This includes worthwhile hashtag use, eye-catching taglines and questions begging for answers, words that are important for SEO, that's search engine optimization, and Google searches to help people find you, and including images and videos that will stop users from scrolling past and pay attention. I'm not saying I'm an expert content creator, but yesterday I wore these poppy red scrubs, and I actually was interested to know what people thought about them. I was worried people would think they look like blood. So I just had a really quick question I put out there: red scrubs, yes or no? And left it open to interpretation, and I got a lot of comments. And I'd say at least 98% were saying, yes, looks good. You can think about plastic surgery from a sales perspective. I'm not going to read this whole quote, but in essence, it's important to talk about your target audience instead of yourself. In plastic surgery, we sell patients the concept of being the best you, putting your best face forward. And in actuality, you're really selling your audience the best version of themselves on your social media content. As you're considering what type of content you will create, it's important to evaluate your own personal skill set and your available resources. Are you a good writer? If so, start a blog. Publish regularly, either weekly or monthly, and be consistent. Nobody wants to check out somebody's website and see a blog from like 5 years ago, and that's it. And it's important to cross-promote your posts on several social media platforms. A blog can be advertised in a video talking about it. Put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, put it on TikTok. Have a link to it on your website. Are you comfortable on camera, as I am? Well, then record video. More on video is coming. Do you like to converse with others? Are you a talker? Well, then start a podcast. Discuss topics that you find interesting because others will too. Do you have a dedicated team member to help you capture content? What type of content? You can have them record videos, photos, patient interviews. If so, start a library and then get help creating posts. Make sure that if you have help creating your posts, that you review and approve all posts before they're published. Personally, I do 99% of my content creation and posting myself. I get help from Silver Social with paid ads and promoted posts, and I focus mostly on the platforms I spend time on personally, which is Instagram and Facebook. Here are some ideas for impactful and interesting blog posts for those writers. You can do a how-to post, how I do my favorite procedure. Do a listicle, that's something like 5 things you didn't know about blepharoplasty surgery. Do a 30-day challenge with your staff, your team members, in the hospital or with your patients. Talk about interesting case studies, patient success stories. If patients are willing to share their journey, get photos, get a testimonial, have them record video and add it to your blog. Talking about overcoming challenges. That could be a challenging case in the OR, or it could be a personal challenge that you've been through as a surgeon. Talk about your personal experiences with a new product, a new procedure. Be careful if you're talking about celebrities. We always like to talk about, did she or didn't he have this particular procedure? That garners a lot of interest in the media, but be careful because you don't want to slander someone and get yourself into a lawsuit. Talk about industry relevant news. We are the experts. We go to society meetings. We should be able to comment on the newest machine or procedure before the rest of the media. And then frequently ask questions. Think about what questions your patients ask you every day in the office. It may seem boring, but it's really good content. It's educational, and readers want to know about it. When you're planning on recording video for social media, you need to set your stage for success. Lighting is everything. If possible, try to face a window for natural light or use a ring light. Be polished. For me, ideally, that's first thing in the morning when you're fresh-faced, you brushed your hair, you've had your coffee, and eliminate any external noise. If you're in your office, post a do not disturb video recording sign. Use your smartphone. It's free. Hold it angled either downward or mount it so you can talk with your hands. That's the best angle. And give yourself a time limit. Give yourself 10, 20 minutes in the morning. Don't spend 3 hours recording videos that you're not happy with that you'll never use. Be prepared. Have a script or talking points, and that can be 3 or 4 bullet points on a Post-it note that you can just glance to the side and see it, and stay under 60 seconds for most platforms. Be yourself. It's totally fine if you stumble. It makes you human and relatable. And you're the expert. Viewers are fascinated by aspects of surgery that we may find mundane. Practice makes perfect, but don't be a perfectionist on video. Aim to get content captured for editing later by someone who has more time than you and expertise in video editing than you. And then one other thing, make sure you add captions. Did you know that 70% of videos on smartphones are viewed without sound? And if they're interesting enough, they'll go back and view it again with sound. Here are some more video pointers. As mentioned, captions enable comprehension of your message if the video is viewed without sound, and it will also keep you out of legal trouble. Over the last several years, there have been several ADA lawsuits related to videos posted on surgeons' websites that were not closed captioned. Adding music to a static post gives it more weight and adds interest. And you can also combine multiple photos and videos into a video reel. It's easy, takes a couple minutes, and it makes your content more appealing. Like the video you can see on the right. I prepared this in the airport after the Mountain West Society of Plastic Surgeons meeting last weekend. You can do this on Instagram. I just happen to use the app called Video Leap. I thought this was a great excerpt from one article I read on content creation in 2023. Do what's right for you and don't follow the crowd. Not every person has the ability to be goofy on TikTok, but everyone can probably be educational. Create videos when you have something to say. Don't just do it to do it. Have good quality educational content, and that will be a big winner. In order to be successful, you need to design a content plan. Don't just assume because you're a brilliant surgeon you can wing it and succeed. You need organization and a plan. Consider posting only content that's really relevant to your practice and interesting to you. We've listed some examples previously. Make sure if you're using photos or videos of patients, you need explicit consent. And I know Dr. Amalfi is going into detail about this. Try to keep your content educational. Limit 1 in 5 posts to self-promotion. And of course, you can include some fun stuff like today happens to be National Employee Appreciation Day and National Day of Unplugging, which of course none of us are doing at this virtual conference. It's important to prepare a content gallery. Make a dedicated folder on your smartphone or your laptop or use a third-party program. Include photos of you doing your great work, your office, awards, patient testimonials, staff headshots, and you can edit your photos in some of these programs using a similar filter so that the lighting and the color scheme is cohesive with your page. If you're going to be sharing before and after images, make sure to cover sensitive body parts. And you can also prepare written captions to go alongside each image and then save them attached to the image for posting later. Search and save relevant hashtags. Make sure the hashtag is not banned and use hashtags that are relevant to your practice. There's general hashtags like hashtag surgery. There's industry specific ones like hashtag plastic surgery. And then you can make niche hashtags like I have for my practice: Dr. Karen Horton, San Francisco plastic surgery, and Botox SF. That will make your posts more findable and shareable. Should you plan your content in advance or be spontaneous and in the moment? Planning posts and curating your content can be done in advance, of course, so you stay organized and you don't forget important events. Third-party programs make it easy to do. Many are free. You do have to pay to post on multiple platforms and to post several months in advance. Planning your posts allows for a cohesive look and feel to your feed. For my before and after account, I spend one day in the summer. I spend 10 to 12 hours when my family is away in Canada and I haven't joined them yet. And I just schedule all of those before and afters a whole year in advance. Content that is prepared by you personally will best represent your practice and be in your voice, like the promotional post I made for this social media panel. On the other hand, being spontaneous and in the moment is fun and allows you to share what you're doing and where you are at that time. Examples include conferences, interesting surgical cases, or special events. Interestingly, these posts often gain the most likes and comments. You should use caution when posting. Make sure you are your best self, or wait until you are before posting. Consider a combination of both planned posts and spontaneity. It's important to establish and curate your practice brand. What's a brand? Well, you are your brand, even in a group practice or academic setting. What sets you apart from all the others? You might think it's your training and your CV, but honestly, social media doesn't usually care about that. You may or may not have expertise. Online reviews are important. As I mentioned, you should save your handwritten cards and words of thanks. But what your brand really is your passion for what you do, for who you treat, your personality, and your authenticity. And if you don't really know where to start, ask your team members. Why do they choose to work with you? Why do they like working with you? Have them share why. Take your time when you're building your brand, be brave, and embrace evolving your brand as your practice changes and matures over time. Who is the best person to capture your content? Do you do it DIY or outsource it to a social media company or a tech-savvy employee or family member? Content captured or created by others can tend to be impersonal, salesy, promotional, or maybe costly. Content captured by you is authentic, unique, believable, honest, and free. If you do have content that's curated by others, make sure you review it and approve the content before it's posted. This can help you avoid getting shadow banned or landing in Facebook or Instagram jail. Third-party scheduling programs can help you get and stay organized. I use Latercom to schedule posts in advance and to look up the most beneficial times to post. I also use Canva.com. This is a program that allows you to create posts that are in line with your brand. You can plug in your color palette, your font style, you can add graphics. It's a really nice way to highlight online reviews, testimonials, and make otherwise boring content look prettier. Some content, on the other hand, you do need to purchase, like Google Ads, Google AdWords, Meta Ads, that means Facebook and Instagram, because the reality is you really do need to pay to play to have some people see your posts, and those are called sponsored posts. Facebook has a program that I use together with Silver Social where they have what's called a lookalike campaign. Based on my usual patient demographic, they can find lookalikes and make sure that people that are very similar to my patient demographic see my sponsored posts. Later.com provides some detailed statistics, which I rarely check, but I do appreciate their weekly emails. They will tell me which are my top posts, that means the most liked and commented on, how many followers I've gained or lost that week, and it gives me a good snapshot of which posts are most popular. Scheduling programs will not only recommend the best times to post so that your posts are seen by the most people, but it will also reveal what your audience demographics are. This will tell you if your followers are local to your practice, whether they're real, and whether it's worthwhile to continue targeting to them with your content versus fake followers. And if you're interested, you can take a deep dive into which posts had the most impressions, reach, likes, comments, and share. Impressions are the number of times your content is displayed, regardless or not of whether it was clicked on or viewed. Whereas reach is the total number of people who actually see your content. There's a gradient from lightest to darkest, and darkest shows the posts over the last week or two that were the most popular, had the most reach, the most likes, and the most impressions and shares. If you're going to share images or videos of patients during surgery, ensure you have bulletproof patient consent before recording, after recording, and have patients actually review their posts prior to publishing them. Remember that consent can be revoked by the patient at any time. If in doubt, don't post it, because the internet is written in ink. Also, beware of video recording during surgery. Performing to the camera, like these two other doctors did, while you should really be taking care of the patient, can increase the risk of complications. We have to remember that we are not entertainers. We are board-certified plastic surgeons who should be leading the way with responsible and legally defensible content creation. Both of these doctors shown here had their licenses either suspended or taken away due to their behavior in the OR. So in summary, when you're thinking about capturing content for your plastic surgery practice, who should do it? You, of course, with some help from others and technology. How do you do it? Be organized, be thoughtful, and be consistent. Creation of holistic content in your own style will become second nature with time. Aim to create content continuously, as it will be helpful when you're feeling uninspired about what to post. You can just draw on your content you've already made. And why? Well, you will control the message about your practice. Think Marie Kondo. You will attract the patients and procedures that bring you joy. Thank you so much. I always end with this slide. It's a great one. Before you post, think, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring or illegal? Is it necessary or is it kind? I look forward to your questions.